No, you didn't.
I said I was going to get the go live button. I thought you was going to do the intro.
Oh,
Oh, Lord have
Shelley.
mercy.
How about good morning, everybody? Good afternoon. Good whatever it is. It's a good
Yes.
Friday.
How are y'all doing today?
Oh, me. I just want to take a minute and tell everybody that is here. Thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate your time because we realize, as YouTube watchers ourselves, you can't get everybody that you want
Nope.
to watch in the 24 hours that we're given every day. So,
That's
when
right.
you choose to spend some time with us, we really appreciate it. And if you're
Yes.
watching the replay, thank you very much. We appreciate you too. Any lurkers, come on, lurk on in. Lurk on in. We can handle
That's
it.
right.
We can handle it. Come on.
That's right.
But we do need to say good morning to Michelle. Good morning, Michelle. And
Hello, Michelle.
Mary. Hey, Froggy. But she's watching us on both channels. I
Isn't
wonder
that
if we're
cool? Thank
echoing.
you so much.
Reckon we're echoing. She's watching us on both channels. Hi, Froggy.
Oh, I don't know.
We get one channel to the other one. Hey, Froggy. Hey, Miss Candy, how are you today? And there's Bryn Michelle, and we have our wonderful crafting adventures with Amy. Good morning, Amy.
Yes.
How are
How
you
are you,
doing?
ladies? And there's Laura.
There's Laura. She's always with us. Our Laura. She ain't gonna miss it.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
So,
We're
how?
so happy y'all are here.
Yes, yes. How are
Well,
you
thank
this
you,
morning?
Michelle. She shared us out to Facebook.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so
Yes.
much. That's lovely too. If you
Yes.
enjoy what you see here today, please consider subscribing to our channels. And
Yes.
Maureen says hit the little hugs on the side where you get all the notifications when we go live. Because I
That's
don't
right.
post that many videos. In fact, probably none in
Oh,
a long time. But, hey, I like going live. I like talking to people face to face, getting them
but folks, we've been trying to talk her into. She does shawls. Some are, most of them are other patterns, but she is designing one of her own. But wouldn't it be wonderful if she would just show us the shawls that she makes, give us her take on them, and if she did anything just a little bit different than the designer?
well,
I think she ought to do that.
well,
Hmm.
I could.
Yes, you probably could, and you should.
Froggy says we got no echo, so we're doing good
Good,
there.
good, good, good,
But
good, good,
yeah, I
good.
probably could do that because I love my favorite thing right up there next to making blankets is shawls. That's my
Yes,
go-to. And I love making doilies of any kind, but it's harder on my old hands to do than it used to be.
right, right.
It's just aggravating when your body won't do what you want it to do. And
That's
it won't
right.
do what it used to would. That ain't fair. It's just not fair. Hi to
Oh,
my daddy if you're watching. Hey, daddy.
hello.
He says he catches us every Friday. And
Oh, that is so sweet of him.
he says if he don't see me on there, that he tells my mom, and then she'll call and want to know, are you sick? Are you okay? So, you know, but, oh, Oh, Froggy's getting ahead of us. We gotta
That's
wait,
right. You're
Froggy.
gonna have to wait.
Gotta wait. Gotta wait. Gotta
That's
wait.
right.
Gotta wait.
Got to wait.
It's a surprise.
Uh-huh.
You know, we
Yeah.
might have some people in here from over the pond that knows exactly what it is.
Right.
You can't never
Right.
tell. Can't never tell. They
That's
might be.
right.
It might not be. You can't.
Pouting.
Oh, we're
You'll
fixing
be
to get.
okay.
We're fixing to get started. But what you drinking? What you weather? What you working on?
I got coffee.
You got
Coffee,
coffee?
coffee. I got coffee. Hello,
Oh, hey, Wicked
Granny.
Granny.
Wicked Granny, how are you?
Yes, welcome in. Welcome in. I am drinking sweet tea, and the weather this morning is nasty. It was coming up a cloud when I got up this morning. I mean, just
Goodness.
raining like crazy and black clouds, but it
Mm,
was moving on. So hopefully it's got on out of here for the day. I hope. But
well,
very seriously, as it heats up during the day, you know how it is. You get
yep.
warms in the afternoon. So
There's our Tracy. How are you,
hey, Miss
sweetheart?
Hunty, thank you so much for showing up.
Yes.
Hey, I
Yes.
got a question for you. I think I already asked you. What is your favorite hook size? Did you tell me? I can't remember.
She's taking a poll, I think. I'm not real sure what she's up to, but she's asking everybody, what is your favorite hook size?
Michelle's got coffee and she's working on a circle vest for a Christmas gift. Hey, I've seen that and it's gonna be nice. Nice.
Oh, yes, very pretty. And that's another one that needs to pop
Mm,
up and show us what she's doing.
show us all the
Mhm.
makes. You can be making videos out of that, Michelle, just like me.
Yes,
If they're gonna make me do it, then you gotta do it too.
that's right. That's right. Got to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Anything from a size E to an H. That's right. You already told me one time. You know, I'm heavily medicated some days, and if I go to sleep, it'll be gone. You know, it's just like I forget it.
Well, thank you, Bryn. I appreciate that. We really do. She's got thumbs in
Absolutely,
both lives. Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That they say that helps the algorithm stuff. You know,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know how it all works exactly. I couldn't. You know, I'm not no YouTube specialist. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Because they try to they try to trade things that they do every so often, and I can't keep
Right.
up with them. I can't.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, so have you ever heard of different names for yarn, Maureen?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Mm. I've heard of a lot of different names, and I've heard people call it a lot of different things.
Yes.
But I did not know that you could purchase yarn in certain ways. I didn't
Oh,
know that.
yeah. Now that I did not know until just recently.
I'm telling you. Hey, Suzanne, thank you for coming
Hello.
in this morning.
Hello, Suzanne.
Ooh, don't miss us. Ooh,
No.
don't miss us. We miss you.
Yes.
That's for true. But I wanted to let anybody know that didn't that there are many, many different ways that you can purchase yarn, and there are many different names that people call them. They're not just a hank or a skein.
No.
Yeah, that's no. They don't call them that. Like across the pond over in
Like where Tracy's at.
yeah, where Miss T is, Miss Hot T, over skipping across the pond, just throw you rock, skip across the pond.
Hello, Sarah.
Hey Sarah, good morning to you. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
You can purchase yarn, they say, in a round. They call it a round. That's
Mm-hmm.
just a wound up ball.
That's right.
It's I'm quoting out of the uh what's the number on this thing?
Maybe look on the
Issue
sign.
129 of Simply Crochet magazine. And this is a British based magazine. Okay.
Right.
So that's across the pond. That's what
Mm-hmm.
this is where I'm talking about if I say across the pond. I know
Right.
there's plenty of ponds between me and a lot of places, but you know, that this is the one I'm talking about. Okay. Now I'm going to read out of this magazine because I want to make sure that I say it exactly the way that they have it. I don't want to mistake anything. Okay.
Right.
So you guys don't make fun of my reading them, please. I'm not the best reader in the world, and I don't have any cheese anymore, so I may sound funny to some people, but I'm trying. So give me a break. Uh, you can buy it in a round. The original shape for a ball of yarn was round or spherical, mainly
Hmm.
because yarn was traditionally wound by hand, and the round shape was the easiest and most natural shape to create. That makes good sense. Yarn
It does.
manufacturers sometimes produce round balls, but they're quite a rare sight. I've never seen one. If you see a round ball, it usually still means that someone has wound it by hand. Working with a round ball can be challenging because the yarn unravels in various directions, which
Yep.
often leads to it rolling away. This is where a yarn bow will help keep the ball in place as it unravels and control the feed of the yarn into your hands while you crochet. Now, how many people use a ball of yarn and a yarn bow? Is that your favorite way to use
Yes.
your yarn?
Yep.
I hate it.
Oh,
I hate it when it's in a ball because it does roll all over everywhere.
unless you
And
have a bowl or a little crochet koozie that you pull it out of.
yep, that's exactly right. But at the same time, you have to pull it
Yeah.
every time. Pull it,
Well,
pull
it's
it.
just like with the skein.
Well, it's got more of the resistance to it. To me, that's
Okay.
my
I
thought
can see that.
with it. You know.
Right. Okay. I can see that.
Okay. Now everybody's seen this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. This is just a Dollar Tree.
Right.
The Premier Just Yarn.
Hmm.
Get it anywhere, anytime. What do you call
Right.
this?
Well, most of us would call it a skein,
Exactly.
but what do they call it across the pond?
This is a bullet.
Isn't that cute?
A bullet, mind you. And it says this is probably the most common shape of yarn now, and it's a great all arounder. A bullet shape works well for all types of yarn, and it can be wound fairly loosely or tightly, depending on the fiber and the smush factor. So
Oh,
squishies.
yeah.
I love the squishies. I love the squishies.
Yes.
And the yarn manufacturer, it depends on the smush factor that the yarn manufacturer wants to create when you squeeze it. Bullet shapes fit together well, so they're good for stacking and storage. They look particularly good if you turn them and display them with the round end out. Like
Mm-hmm.
a round ball, the yarn unravels in various directions while you crochet, but the oval shape means it's less likely to roll away. Alternatively, many bullet yarns now have a handy center pull tab. That'd be the little tab that sticks out on either
Mm-hmm.
end of it. Some have a little piece of paper or something stuck to it, a charm, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some don't. And sometimes, just like it says here, you can center pull tab so you can work with this end of the yarn for a smoother feed of the yarn into your hands. If there's no tab, you can use your fingers to root around inside the shape to find the inner thing. That's what we do. And when we
That's
pull it
right.
out, we get the yarn bark. Okay?
That's right.
That's where it comes from. But now, if it has the
Yep.
little piece of paper put on it, or tab, or charm, or whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
to call it, if it has that put on it, then you just pull it. How
Yep.
hard would it be for all the manufacturers that make this shape of yarn to
Right.
take that last thing when they cut it off the machine, stick a piece of paper on it? How hard
I
would that be
know.
for them? Come on, guys. We hate yarn bars. We hate it.
I
Oh,
hate I hate rooting around in there on one end or the other to
yeah.
try to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually. Now, this is, I'll say, on the average.
I know.
Now, see how this yarn has got one particular string running to the
Mhm.
center?
Right.
Okay. I will pull that out like this, all the way out. And I know that that's the outside
Right.
of my yarn. So
Yep.
that went in this end. So I
Yep.
know this will be the end to go into to try to find the
Yep.
end. But see, sometimes you still get the yarn bars.
That's right.
See, look, boop, yarn
There it
bar.
is.
But that's the
Yep.
end. That's the end
Yep.
of the
There it
yarn.
is.
But you got all this crap you had to pull out to get to it. If you just had a little bitty piece of paper that they would stick on the end of this yarn, then you could
Mhm.
smoothly do it. But no, Premier, uh, Hobby Lobby,
Mhm.
uh, who else? All of them
All of them. Yes.
don't do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that
Uh,
being said, that's my rant for today.
mm,
You can also get cakes of yarn, like this
yes.
gorgeous thing right here. Isn't that a beauty?
That's luscious.
Oh, that was
Luscious.
gifted to
Luscious.
me by a lovely, lovely friend, and it's the
Mhm.
Sheepshe's Pearl.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
This is a considered a cake. Okay.
Mhm.
Another popular shape, a cake, is flat at the top, bottom, and the sides. The yarn usually starts as a small cylinder shape with links wound around the sides to build up the shape. They go around and around and around. Okay. A cake works well for various yarns, but especially variegated ones because you can see how the color changes.
Yep.
Cakes are good for stacking and storage. The
Right.
variegated colors look lovely on display. As yarn unravels around the sides, the cake shouldn't roll around. Many cake yarns also have a center pull tab. If
Mhm.
not, you can usually find the inner end much more easily than with a bullet yarn. Okay.
Right.
And that's very true
It
because you
is.
can see the center of a cake. You can
Yep.
usually find it, even though this one has been smushed kind of flat in your.
Mhm.
You know that right in there is the center of this cake.
Right.
You know to look right in there for the end. It's not a surprise kind of thing.
No.
You know
Mm-mm.
where to look for. Okay. Now we come to the donuts. A shape you'll also see a lot, a donut, is more rounded than a cake with a little dip at the center top and bottom where the yarn has been wound around a central point. Most
Right.
donut balls are good for stacking, storage, and display. Some have a recyclable cardboard core, which helps to stabilize the yarn during their winding and crocheting, but this does add extra weight and firmness that makes them bulky to store. I've
Huh.
never had one with a cardboard thingy in the center.
Yeah. Me
That
either.
must be an across the pond thing because I've never had one.
Mm-mm.
But um, a donut shape works well for all sorts of yarns, and they're often used for more expensive fibers. Some donuts have a center pull tab, and if not, the dip at the center makes it easy to find the inner end. If you use the outer end instead, you'll find that the yarn unravels quite readily and in various directions around the donut, which some crocheters love, while others find very frustrating. I find it very frustrating. I
To
don't
use
like
the
that it comes off
on the outside. Yeah.
every which way when you're doing it from the outside. But when you get the donuts, 90% of them, I'll say, do have some type of label, and
Right.
they are connected from one end to the other through the center of the wafer.
Right.
Okay, and when you take this label out, I'm not going to pull this one out because it's going to make this thing fall all to pieces. They get
Hmm.
That's another thing about them. They get really ruffled if you move them
Right.
around very much. They're very easy to flub
Get
this way,
unwound.
and it'll get unwound and fall all over
Right.
everything and make a mess. But
Yeah.
other than that, I love a donut for the center pull because once you get the center pull out of it, it crochets really easily. It pulls from the
Yeah.
center very, very easily, almost like a cake. In
Yeah.
fact, it probably does pull out of the center a little better than a cake because a cake, once you get past a certain point in a cake,
Yeah.
the insides will begin to collapse on you.
Yeah.
One way you can stop that is to take a ball of yarn that's about the size of wherever you're at in your cake
Hmm.
begins to collapse on you. Take a
Right.
ball of yarn and stick it down in that center.
Yep.
That'll keep the sides from falling in. It'll keep it
Yep.
out as big as you need it, you know.
Well,
And it
too,
works for
another
quite a
thing,
while without it falling in.
too, you can also on a cake and even on that donut type,
Donuts. Hmm.
if you can find this, if you can find the center, if you can stick it on a peg,
Yes.
I have a little. I took a short. I took a wooden. Um,
Hey, Jane, thank you for coming in.
Hello, Jane. Thank you. Uh, yes, you can
Yes,
get
you
it
get
with the. Yeah, I
quite a bit
took
of yarn
a
bar.
paper towel holder. I'll get there in a moment. A paper towel holder, found the
Yep,
center,
yep, yep,
and
yep.
we'll slide it on there. And even if I'm doing the center pull,
Uh-uh.
it will keep
It
both of
keeps it
those
from
for a
making such a mess.
long
Yeah,
time.
it
Yeah,
keeps
for
it from
pulling in
making
and
such a mess. Now you can
right.
take a like you were saying, a paper towel holder.
Yes.
If you have the kind that has the wooden dowel in the
Yeah.
center. Thank you, Mindfully Crochet. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
you coming
Mara.
in
We
and giving
appreciate
us your
you.
little thumbie. Even if you can't stick around, we appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Mara.
The donut style, if you have a wooden dowel in the center
Yes.
of your
Hmm.
paper towel holder, before you
Yeah.
remove this label, before you remove the
Right.
label, set it down on top of that dowel, right through that center, before you remove the label,
That's
because
it.
if you take this label out, you're liable to mush it up in the center when you're pushing it down on there. Don't take your label out till you get
Right.
it completely
Yeah.
on your rod. Okay. And now there
That's
are
right.
some paper towel holders like what you buy at Dollar Tree or Dollar
Yeah.
Store, anything like that. They're metal and they
Yes.
have kind of a looped up piece.
That works
Yes,
too.
and it's flat. That'll work, and that'll work good for a cake because, like I said, they get smushed and they have that
Hmm.
flat line in the center of them, and you can kind of wiggle your fingers down in there just a little bit, and then
Yep.
slide it down on that rod that's shaped this way, and it'll help a lot to keep your center
Yep.
held up fairly well for quite a
Yep.
while. But once it begins to collapse in, like I said, you can take a small ball of yarn, just any leftover yarn, any
Yep.
whatever yarn for that matter,
Right.
and just ball it up to make it the size of whatever, you know, space you have
You're
that's
holding
falling
for
in, and just stick it right down in the center of your cake. And that helps a lot. It really
Oh
does.
yes, for a long time, in fact.
Yeah, and it will, even if your ball is smaller than the
Hmm.
opening of your yarn, it will still keep it from
Yeah.
completely collapsing in. If you'll
Yes.
just put that little ball of yarn down in there, and that way, even as it gets bigger, the hole gets bigger, it
Right.
still keeps it from collapsing all the way. and
Yeah.
you can finish up your project that way without having a big wad of yarn bars come flying out of it, or it falling in, and then you
Mhm.
got it's tangled. I mean, it's
Yeah.
severely tangled when it does that.
Mhm.
It's aggravating as all get out, I
Yes,
have to
it
say.
is.
Now, that's one thing I hate about the cakes. If they fall in, they really get tangled because most of the time, they're a one or a two weight anyway, and they're
Right.
tiny yarn. And when it gets tangled up, it's not just tangled, it's in a knot,
No.
and you got to undo it. That's aggravating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, now we come to the next thing, which is this shape. What do you call this, Maureen?
I call it a hank.
All right.
Hank of yarn.
I call it a hank, but
What do they call it?
they call them skeins or hanks. Either one is fine for them.
Oh.
They say they're twisted skeins.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
guess
that
that makes sense,
makes sense. Yeah.
But it says this unusual shape looks a bit like a bulging caterpillar. The yarn is wound. I never
That's
thought of it
funny.
that way.
No, me either.
No, no, no. Well, I guess it kind of sort of does look like a bumpy one, if you
Yeah.
hold it that way. It might accidentally be one, but not none I've ever seen. But anyway,
Well, yeah.
must be something across the pond. They may have some that looks like that.
Mhm.
The yarn is wound into a large loop, secured with small knotted pieces of yarn, folded in half, and held at each looped end while it's twisted into shape. Twisted skeins tend to be used by independent dyers or for luxury fibers, where the loose wind keeps the fibers relaxed rather than under a strain. The
Huh.
result is a touchable, squeezable yarn. And if you don't know it, and I'm sure all you ladies do, I'm sure all of you've been told, I'm sure all of you know it to begin with. You don't wind your skeins into a cake or a
Oh,
ball until you're ready to use it,
yeah.
because it will stretch the fibers out in the
Yeah.
yarn, and it will make your gauge off, because when you go
Yeah.
to block it, it's going to shrink back down, and it's not going to match your gauge anymore.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Even if you got it at the very first, if you keep that yarn wound up in a ball or wound up into a cake, if you've got a ball winder, either way, if
Right.
you're not using it right then, it's going to stretch those fibers out, and they'll stay stretched out. They won't have a, they won't be, they won't have a chance to go back. They'll be
Yeah.
used to being stretched out, if
Yep.
that makes any sense.
Yep.
If you got a skein like this or a hank,
Mhm.
and you undo it and you wind it up into a cake, that's under tension. This
Right.
is quite a bit of tension. And the
Yep.
longer it stays that way, the bigger chance you have of not making your gauge correct when you're starting a
Right.
project. It may be the right size when you crochet it, and it may come out the right size, the project, but when you go to block it or watch it or whatever, it's going to shrink back down,
Yep.
because that's the natural shape of the fiber. They're
That's
going to
right.
do that no matter what if you keep it under tension too long.
Yep.
Okay? So don't wind these up till you're ready to use them.
Yep.
You know, it's very important. It makes a big difference. A lot of crocheters have made a project, met the gauge, project came out exactly right, beautiful, and then when they go to block it, it shrinks, and you can't
Yep.
pull it back out to make it, you know,
Mm-mm.
do it again, because those fibers
Nope.
get
They've gone
once
back
they
to their
shrink back,
natural
they're gonna get
state.
stiff. Okay,
Yep.
they're not gonna go back out again.
Mhm.
That's why blocking sets your work.
That's right. Yep. Hello,
Okay.
Moon Rose. Thank you so much for being with us today. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you, Moonrose. We appreciate it greatly. And let's see, where was we? Twisted skeins fit together fairly well and look gorgeous displayed in almost any way. To crochet with a twisted skein, you first need to wind it into a ball, otherwise, you'll end up with a tangled mess. This does add extra time to your project, But
Mm-hmm.
please don't let it put you off these yarns. First, untwist the skein into a large loop, then place over the back of a chair, remove any knots, and wind it into a ball. You can use a yarn swift and ball winder. Many local yarn shops will let you use theirs. If you purchase the skein or hank from them, most of the time they'll either let you use theirs or they'll do it for you. Okay,
Right.
I a lot of them don't want somebody that don't know how to do it messing with their swift and the yarn ball winder. I
Yeah.
understand that because they're not cheap. I really do.
No,
So
no, they're
don't
not.
get angry if they say I'll do it for you.
Right.
Say thank you, smile, and hand it to them. You
That's
know
right.
that is a real gift that they're giving you.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
it really is. And if you don't, when you purchase a hank like this, and you do this, you slide the paper off of it, and I'm gonna regret that, I'm sure. One end of it is like a baguette or something. It's rounded on this end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On the other end is kind of got a top knot sticking up.
Right. Right
Okay.
there.
And there's a little loop that goes around it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You take this loop, slide it up and over
Yep.
that little top knot. Keep your finger in that loop. See, I slid mine out a little bit. Keep your finger in that loop. I missed part of it because I was talking and not looking. Okay. Running my mouth, you wouldn't have never guessed.
Yeah.
Let it unwind. Give it a little shake, just like that. Just a little shake, a little jiggle. That's all you got to do. Put your hand in there. There's your loop. Okay.
Yep.
Even if you're going to put it on a swift or the back of the chair, or if you got a really, really sweet old man, he'll come hold it right there. You know, when
Yep.
these numbers, as you're winding it up into a ball.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the little strings they were talking about.
Right.
When they make this yarn, whether it be hand dyed or just dip dyed or whatever, however they do it,
Right.
when they put it back together to be when it's drying, or before they ever do it, I'm sorry, they tie these strings on there to keep these from wadding up and getting tangled. Okay,
Yep.
they split this up, most of them into three, some of them's four. I have seen with four
Yeah.
different little parts. There's one part, and the string is tied around it. Here's another part, and the string's tied around it. You have to take your snips or scissors and cut this knot. This is
Right.
not part of your yarn. So
Mm-mm.
don't be afraid to cut it. You're not hurting nothing. Okay? You're not cutting your yarn. This is a whole separate string.
Right.
Okay? Cut it off. And then it just slips right out there. I'm not going to do that because I'll have to wind this back up and put it back where it belongs because I'm not ready to use it yet. There's usually a couple that are not attached to your yarn, usually. Then they take the end of the yarn and they tie it in a knot and they wind it through one end and the other end. They'll wind
Mm-hmm.
it through and tie it in a knot. That'll be the beginning and ending of your yarn. But if
Yep.
you get the wrong, if you get this all twisted up, boogered up, then it's going to be tangled
Oh, yeah.
when you try to undo it when you're winding your ball. So be
Yep.
careful how you undo it. It's not, don't be afraid of it. Just be mindful of
Careful.
how it's laying.
Yep.
Okay, because if you don't, it's not going to come off the swift like it's supposed to. It's not going to
Yep.
come off your old man's hands holding them like this. It's not going to come off the back of the chair right. It's going to
Nope.
get tangled up every time you go to make a round. It's going to
Yep.
be tangled and make a mess. And nobody wants that because that's aggravating to
No.
talk it out. But other than that, it's really easy to make a ball or a skein or a cake or whatever you want to call it, a bullet out of this.
Yep.
It's real easy if you pay attention to what you're doing. And it is worth it. It's worth it for these expensive fibers. It is. I'm
Oh,
going to twist
yes.
mine back up just like I got it.
Now,
See,
Michelle asked a question a moment ago when we were talking about,
the
let's
natural
see,
fibers, yes, it
yes,
most certainly is. It doesn't matter what kind. You don't want to do this real tight, just enough that it does
right.
that. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. You don't want to do it any
Yep.
tighter. Then you just pull it right back up through there, just like
And it's
that.
ready to
Mine's
go
not
back
as
on its
pretty as
yarn
they do
band.
it at the yarn shop, but it'll do. And I'm gonna put my hopefully put this back on it. Hopefully.
Mm,
Might not, but I'm gonna try it. I may have to wiggle it on there when I got more time, but it's going back on there one way or the other. I had to cut it in two and tape it back on there because that's my information about my yarn. But
right.
yes, natural fibers are the same way, Michelle. Like cotton, if you
Mm-hmm.
have that's 100% cotton, that's 100% natural. If you have a hank like this, that's 100% cotton or 50% cotton or
Right.
whatever the natural fiber is. It's a natural fiber just like this wool is. Okay. So they've got it in a relaxed state right here.
Yep.
It believe it or not, is very, very, that's what makes it so squishy.
Luscious.
Oh, so squishy and soft and just, yeah, luscious. That's what makes it that way because it's so relaxed. If you wind this up into a cake's not near as squishy
Mm-mm.
as a hank. It's not near as squishy, not near as nice. You can't play
Yeah.
with a cake like you play with this hank
Mm,
because it's been wound up. If
right.
you wind up cotton, it's going to tighten it up, tighten the
Yeah.
fibers up. And if you're not using it, crocheting with it right then, them fibers are going to get used to being stretched out, being tight.
Mm-hmm.
Not maybe not stretched out so much, it's just tight, real tight. Okay. And then when you crochet, your gauge is going to be off from what it is
Yeah.
once it gets wet and it relaxes again. Like a pair of blue jeans. Every time you wash a pair
Yeah.
of blue jeans, they're going to go back to the size that they was when you bought them. Okay.
Yep.
If you're wearing them and they're skin tight, they're stretching it out. They're
That's
stretching
right.
the blue jeans out. And you can wear them a couple of times even. They'll stay that size. But when you get them
Yep.
wet, they're going to go right back to the size they was when you bought it because
Yep.
that's the natural fiber going back to its relaxed self.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it doesn't matter what type of natural fiber it is, whether it
Right.
be wool or cotton or linen or
Or
flax,
alpaca.
alpaca,
Yeah.
yes, whether it be
Any
camel,
of the
whether it be
natural
dog
fibers.
hair, anything.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something natural other than nylon,
Rayon.
acrylic, rayon,
Yeah.
well, no, I don't know. Rayon might be considered a natural fiber.
I think there's a little bit of debate there as to
I'm
whether
not
it
sure.
is or not because
Yeah.
it's coated.
hmm I
So
think it might fall under the same categories, but not really because if you stretch rayon too far, it breaks.
yeah.
It's not going to keep stretching; it'll break. Period.
Right.
You'll tear a
Yeah.
hole in it. So I guess it wouldn't be considered too much natural because a natural fiber you're not so much gonna stretch and make a hole in it as you're gonna rip the fibers apart.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They'll just pull apart if you stretch
Yeah.
it too far. But rayon will just break. It just
Mm-hmm.
and it ain't
And
gonna
I think
make.
that's because of whatever chemical they mix with it.
Yes,
You
yes.
know what I
How
mean?
they make it? Yes,
Yeah.
it is made from bamboo, so that's
Yes.
natural. But the process that they go through to get the rayon, to get it that
Yeah.
soft and get it that smooth and shiny, is
Yeah.
what makes it uh, less natural.
Mm-hmm.
Is
And
that
that's
a good way to say it?
why, that's why I said I think there's that little controversy as to they're thinking about what it comes from,
Mm,
and others think about the
how they
process
made
and
it.
the end product, so
Well, if they consider that, you can consider whether or not linen would be natural because it's made from flax and
right.
it has to go through a process to be able to be
Mm-hmm.
made into linen. But all the
Yeah,
process that it goes through is a natural process.
right.
So, you can debate
Again,
both ways with that. That's whichever
mm-hmm.
side of the fence you're sitting on, that's the way you can go with that.
To
And it would
me,
really be correct either way, I think. So, you know.
uh-huh. To me that falls in that other category.
Yeah, in the others. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Right.
it's no, well, no, rayon is not a petroleum product.
No.
Acrylic is a petroleum
Right.
product.
Yeah.
Every acrylic, whether it be premium or whether it be Dollar Tree,
Right.
is a petroleum product.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what. And like this donut, this is a yarn bee soft and sleek. It's a low peel fiber, 100% low peel acrylic. Now you
Yeah.
can call it whatever you want, low peel, no peel,
Premium.
smooth acrylic, whatever,
Yeah.
premium. It's still a petroleum based product.
Right.
There is no getting around that, no changing that. If you've got acrylic in anything, you've got petroleum in it. Just like
Right.
petroleum jelly. Same thing comes from. But
Yep.
it's acrylic is not a natural fiber. You
No.
cannot go in nature and get this. You can't.
Mm-mm.
No way. You can't go get something from nature and make it into this. You can't. It's another product, period, that goes through a whole nother application to become
Yeah.
this yarn. But it is petroleum based, not rayon.
No.
Rayon comes from bamboo. You'll have to look that one up, Michelle. Guarantee you.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from bamboo. That's like silk. Silk
Yeah.
comes from a worm.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes from a worm. It really, really does. It spins this rayon and it's,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, so many more less millimeters than a hair, that
Yep.
they did like a spider web almost.
Mm-hmm.
And they take all these fibers, these hair fibers, and they wind them together to make silk
Yep.
out of this worm. They wash it and all that, but it still comes from a worm. Period. It's
Yep.
natural, all natural. They may wash it. They may put a little chemical on it. They may dye it to put a little,
Yep.
change the color of it or whatever. But it is still 100% natural, just like cotton
Yep.
grown from the ground. So you know, and bamboo,
There's your lesson for the day.
yeah, bamboo. They have to take. Hey, Sharon, Sharon. Oh, it's good to see you.
She's playing and running around playing with a little kitten.
Oh, you got your new kitten. I'm so glad. Oh, does the big kitty like it? I hope she didn't. I hope the big kitty didn't. I can't remember if it's a boy or girl, but I hope they didn't get jealous over it or something.
Well,
Whatever
there's
you'll call
always
it.
an adjustment period.
Well, yeah, for a little while maybe. But yeah, the bamboo they harvest the bamboo
Right.
and they run it through they flatten it first, squish it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they shred it up into fibers,
Right.
really, really tiny fibers to make the rayon. It goes through
Yeah.
several processes, but when
Mm-hmm.
they have it, they take the whole tree, the whole stick of bamboo,
Yep.
they run it in this machine that just squishes a mess out of it, and then it's got little teeth inside that's doing it like
Yeah.
you
Shredding
shred
it apart.
barbecue. Yeah, it's just tearing it all to pieces. And then on down the line, it's putting it back together, winding it back together, and they make the rayon out of it. But I'm
Yep.
sure it goes through other. chemical processes and all
Mhm.
that. But it does start as a 100% natural product.
Yep.
And of course, everybody knows wool comes from sheep. There's, Lord, how
Mhm.
many different kinds of sheep, Maureen? Hundreds.
There's enough. Yes.
Bunch, bunch. Some of them are more rare than others. I
Right.
think uh, the something about the ones with the black faces on them are something about them. They're pretty rare. And then there's some they call a blue face in there, a
Yes.
blue face,
Yes, there's a blue
something
face.
like that. Their their
Yeah.
their wool grows differently, I think, than just a regular old sheep. I think it takes
Mhm.
longer to grow. Isn't that
Yep.
right? Something like
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
So when they
Yeah.
harvest it, it makes it more expensive than just regular
Right.
wool because it's going to be, just for example, 10 years before it grows back. Where regular
Right.
wool, it's going to be back next year.
That's right.
You know,
Thank you for
that,
being here, Sharon. We appreciate your thumb.
yes, thank you so much. Uh, you can see the difference between the prices in wool if you
Oh
really
yeah.
think about it because once they're sheared, they're washed, they're carded, they're spun, they're plied,
Mhm.
all that's the same. But you do have to think about how often are you going to be able to go and get that from that sheep.
That's right.
If it's going to be 5 to 10 years before that sheep grows its wool completely out, like it was when you shore it,
Seared it.
sheared it, shored it,
Mhm.
whatever the word is. Help me, Frog. It, she knows all them big words.
Yep.
Uh, Once it's shorn, I know that's right.
Mhm.
If it takes 5 years to grow back versus 1 year to grow back, your profits are waiting 5 years before you
Yes.
can make them again. So
Right.
you're going to have to live off of whatever you get for that yarn for the 5 years. Where this sheep
Yep.
over here, every year you can go back and get it, go back and get it,
Mhm.
go back and get it. And you can live off of the profits every year.
Yep.
Yes, we have goats, we have rabbits, they have camel, they have
Mhm.
alpaca. All of those, most of those, I don't know if they, I think some rabbits they brush, don't they?
Yes.
Brush
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and get the hair off of them. They don't kill the
Yeah.
rabbit, they just brush it.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I don't know how often you do that to a rabbit. I don't know. I don't own rabbits. And I most certainly don't own any goats. I don't know that I've ever had any goat
Mhm.
yarn. I don't think I have. I don't think I have. I really, really don't. If I did, I would be sure to remember it. That's I know that. But there's like yeah. Oh, rabbits are brushed year round.
Year round. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now see, I didn't know that. Ooh, rabbit Angora. She's spinning rabbit
Yes.
Angora. Ooh, can you imagine how nice that is?
Mhm.
Mm-mm. I can remember back when I was in high school. Good grief. I'm telling on myself. But this is back when the rabbit fur coats were popular.
Yes. Mhm. Rabbit purses.
There was a girl in my class that had a rabbit fur coat. Now, I don't know how they got the
Mm.
fur. Never asked.
Yeah.
Don't care. I remember she wore it one day and it come up a cloud. And she got that thing wet running from one building to another building. And when she got in that classroom, that thing stunk like something dead. I mean, it was awful. She had to take it off. The teacher had her take it off and hang it on the doorknob outside the classroom. Close the door and it was outside while we was
Yep.
in class. Cause I mean it stunk up the whole dang room. It stunk
Right.
bad. And
Mhm.
she said, well, my mom just had it dry cleaned. Well, I don't know
Got
what
wet.
they stink, but it sure did. Whew, it was bad. And she could walk down the hall and little tufts would be,
Yeah.
you know, poofing off into the air behind you. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoop, I don't know what that is, but yeah, it Oh, Krista. Is that your name, Monrose? Is Krista? I did not know that. If I'm if I'm
Very pretty name.
saying the right thing. Yes, my daughter's name was Krista. Spelled different, but her name was Krista. Anyway, uh there's also
Yes.
camel fibers.
I
And
have not ever seen any or touched any.
me
I
either. And I
sure would
can't
like to.
imagine what they'd feel like. Seems like
Hmm.
that'd be rough, you know? A bunny rabbit, you think of a bunny rabbit. A bunny rabbit's so soft and so cute and snuggly.
Yeah.
But a camel?
Hmm.
He don't put me in mind of being snuggly. That's for
No.
sure. And I don't know that I would want any camel. I just don't know. I don't know. I've never felt one. I'm like you, Maureen. I've never felt
Hmm.
one. I've heard of people riding them, but
Yeah.
I haven't. I ain't.
Maybe camel is more like macrame hemp,
Yeah,
more for rugs and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Like I said,
yeah.
I've never seen camel when it's been spun or anything, so I have no idea what it looks like or feels like.
Me neither.
But that's where I would imagine it being used.
Yeah, I can't. I can't see that it would be something you'd want to make a garment out of.
No, me either. Yeah.
It could be. It could be soft as all get out, but I just can't
Froggy
imagine.
says it's super soft.
Maybe that's what we need to do. I'll put in together and just get us a hank of camel hair yarn, whatever.
Okay, Froggy. Is it expensive?
Oh, she says camel is super soft.
Yeah, that's what I said. She says it's super soft.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey,
Hello,
Diana.
Marina. How are you? Well, thank you. Thank you. She says she's enjoying the fiber conversation. Thank you so
We
much.
try. We really do. I love to discuss different things like this with
Yeah,
y'all to get y'all's opinion and what y'all think. And it's like Froggy's telling us now. She says camel feels like alpaca, but it's not expensive. I can't
well,
imagine. Why wouldn't it be expensive? I mean, there's not camels running around all over everywhere to get fur off of or hair or whatever they've got. So why wouldn't it be expensive too?
hmm,
Looks like they would be just as unique as an alpaca. You know,
yeah,
you don't. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of alpaca farms. I know that. They're pretty spread out. They're not just everywhere. There's not like cows.
right.
So and I don't
Uh,
believe I've ever seen a camel farm. So why wouldn't they be expensive?
yeah.
Well,
Marina says, I'm doing well, thanks. I've been finding clearance deals on
yes,
natural fiber yarns and getting them that way. Yes, that's the
yeah,
only way I can, that I try to buy the natural fibers is when they go on sale.
yeah. They are
Uh,
more expensive. They are more
yes, they
expensive.
are. They are.
But that this because of the process that they have to go through to
Right.
make it into yarn. It does take a little more manpower, I guess you could say, to
Hmm.
get a natural fiber into a yarn.
Right.
But at the same time, you're not depleting the earth's
Mm-mm.
resources by using
No.
the petroleum.
Right.
Not that I'm against acrylic yarn. Don't give me don't start jumping on me in the chatter or giving me a bad rap because I said that.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm against acrylic yarn. I've got a whole wall full of it. So don't think that. I'm just saying there's a difference between something that you can grow every year and something that you're digging out
Right.
of the earth.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Well, the other thing that a lot of people don't understand is that really, with it being a petroleum product, it is a byproduct
Yes.
of the
Something
process
else.
of, yes, of using, taking the petroleum up out of the ground and dispersing it, where it goes into different things. So
Mhm.
there's always going to be a byproduct from that.
Yes.
And it just so happens that they found a way to use that
Make it.
byproduct, and that was to make it into yarn.
Uh-huh. And petroleum based products besides yarn, like
Hmm.
petroleum jelly, and there's a
Yes.
lot of petroleum-based products. I'm not
Oh
going to
yeah.
start naming them off because some of them are really for things that are not fit for this topic.
Right.
So, so we'll not go there. But Mariana
No.
says she's trying to use less acrylic and work down that stash. Actually, the more
Right.
people are aware of petroleum source for acrylic, the more they will be interested in natural fibers, hopefully.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's my hope. That really is my hope because anything that you can do with acrylic, you can do with a natural fiber.
Oh yes.
Any reason that you're using acrylic can be the same reason to use a natural fiber
That's right.
because some of the natural fibers are the same price as acrylic and they can be
Yeah.
used for the same applications as acrylic.
That's right.
But,
Yep.
you know, yes, petroleum based products are flammable, extremely flammable.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. Very, very true. But we didn't get over here and be no political reference or anything like that. But,
No.
you know, don't want to go there. We'll get in trouble. Um,
Yep.
but there even if you are using acrylic, it's a good product.
Oh yes, it is.
It's done a lot of good and it's helped a lot of things. We're not gonna bash, acrylic,
Acrylic. Yeah.
even though it
And
is
it has
what
been
it
mixed
is.
with other yarns. It has
Yes,
been mixed with natural fibers.
that's
So
exactly right.
like
There's
cotton.
50
Mm-hmm.
50 acrylic cotton. And
Yeah.
there's even natural fibers that are mixed with just a little bit of acrylic, you know,
Yeah.
that like 90% alpaca, 10% acrylic,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you know.
That
So
happens.
it does happen. And it makes a difference in the yarn. Most of the time, it makes the natural fibers more affordable.
Right.
It does make a difference.
There you go. See, Marina said I use it and try to mix it in with natural yarn in certain projects. Yep.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
that's true. You can do a lot of different things with a lot of different kinds of yarn, and you can buy it shaped in all different sizes and ways and
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. It's amazing what you can find out if you go to looking up different products,
Yeah.
different applications for yarn,
Mm-hmm.
different ways yarns are made. If you've never watched a
Right.
video on how yarn is made, you might be surprised and you might
Right.
be shocked at some of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Yep.
you haven't yet, look it up. Just educate your brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been here almost our time, Maureen. I have
Oh my goodness.
really, really enjoyed our conversation today. And anytime you guys want to chime in there and put your 2 cents in on what we're talking about, please do. I love to hear other people's opinion
Oh
and
yes, most
discussion about what we're
definitely.
talking about because that's the way you learn. You learn new things
That's right.
from other people or other sources because you're not born knowing everything. You're not.
Oh no.
And you got to learn it sooner or later
Right.
or not. But if you're going to learn it, you're going to learn it from someone other than yourself.
That's
You're
right.
going to have to go outside yourself to learn something new,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's a discovery about your own personal self.
Right.
That don't make no sense. But we're not in that. We're not in the tarot card reading and all that good stuff. We're not gonna go there. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
Madonna
Let
has
us know
dropped
what
for
the
us
day is.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Friday, the 21st day of July. It's legal drinking age day.
Woo
It's
woo.
National Be Someone Day. I guess that means we get to
Play
play
like you're
act for a
somebody
while.
else.
National Tug of War Tournament Day. And I like this one and I wished I had one. Take a Monkey to Lunch Day.
Oh, I'm telling you, wouldn't that be fun? Ah,
The, the food holidays are junk food and Lamington.
what
And
is
then we
that?
discover what
Lemon,
Lamington was earlier today? Wasn't it Mary that asked what it was?
Leamington? I don't know. Leamington.
Does anybody know what Lamington is?
I've never heard of that. Never. Now, I know what junk food is.
Me too.
I'm
I can
very
hop on
familiar
that
with
one in
that.
a hurry.
Oh, there's Sherry Kay. Hey, girlfriend.
Hey,
Woo, glad you
Sherry.
made it. We was just about
Yes.
to close out. Look it up for us, Foggy, real quick. Tell us what Leamington is, because I've never heard of it. Never. Might be something we want to try.
Well, it says it's a food.
Well, there's some foods I don't want to try.
Okay, Mary, what is it?
What
She said
was it?
yes, she was the one that asked.
Woo!
Australian cake with chocolate covered. Oh, that's right. Chocolate covered and then
Ooh.
chocolate and then covered in coconut. I
Oh,
remember
my goodness.
because Froggy can't eat coconut. Yeah. Oh, Sherry's getting ready to play bingo.
Okay.
She's playing bingo with. She works at a nursing home, and so she
She's
always
the
lines up
activities
the.
director, I think.
Yep.
I
And
think
so
that's what her title
she's getting
is.
ready to play bingo with
She
her
has a lot of
residents.
fun with the people that are there, the older. Well, I shouldn't say older because some of them might not be, but the persons that are there in the nursing home with her. I think it's they don't call it a nursing home. It's like a retirement home or something like
Okay.
that. But she has a lot of fun with some of them, and some of them not so
Mm-hmm.
much. But I hope you have a good day, Sherry. I didn't
Yes.
get to see you
Yes.
this
Yes.
morning, so mwah, love you.
Woo! Boy, I'm
Woo.
glad we're at the end
Well,
of
see,
our
now
time.
that's two totally different. Froggy says it's an Australian cake with chocolate covered in coconut, and Mary said it's a British dessert sponge cake covered in chocolate and covered in cocoa.
Well, that's crazy.
Hmm. Health and Rehabilitation Center. I knew they didn't call it the old folks home. that's they don't that's not politically correct anymore, I don't guess.
No, probably
Everything's got
not.
woke.
Yep. Yep.
But
Who
anyway,
knows?
you know,
Well,
no matter what in life, people choose to be kind because it will not only change you, it will change the world.
and be the light out there in the darkness for someone today because you never know, could be your light that they are waiting to see.
That's
We love you all so much and thank you for giving us your time. We greatly appreciate it.
yes, it is appreciated, and we understand how awesome it is to have all you guys here because you've chosen to spend your time with us, and we love you for it. Thank you, guys. We'll all see you later on the YouTube streets. Bye
There you
bye.
go. Wow. Okay, fine.